In this video, we're going to discuss some issues about using your voice. And I mean this not in the sense of singing or modeling, as we've talked about in other videos, but really just talking. The most common mistake that we see or hear is that people just don't talk loudly enough. So if you're in the back rows of the ensemble, the conductor just can't be heard. If you pay attention to how the ensemble is reacting when you speak, you'll see clues. If you're in a community ensemble and there's older members, you'll literally see this sometimes, and you can tell they're having trouble hearing you. For all ensembles, you might find that the symptoms are that half the group doesn't know where you're starting, or that you see people kind of talking to each other quietly, trying to figure out, well, what did he just say, or where are we going to start? Or it'll just be explicit. They'll just say, where are we starting? If this happens to you a lot, then it's very likely that you need to talk more loudly. It doesn't mean yelling, it just means to project. This is something that you can practice, and you can get constant feedback from the ensemble. Just ask, are you able to hear me now? Don't be shy about that, because it's going to pay dividends in the long run. The second most common problem, and something that I am guilty of and I'm constantly working to fix, is the idea of talking too quickly or mumbling. And this is the same sort of issue, that if you do that, people are not going to hear what you're saying, and you're just going to have to say it again. And so you might as well just work on slowing down just a bit and enunciating a little bit more clearly. Another problem people have when addressing the group is that they don't look at the group while they're talking. This is especially true for when you're dealing with an issue in the score. And the reason is pretty straightforward, that we're rehearsing something, the music and the stand is below us, and so we look down, and the bell of our instrument, or our voice, is straight down into the stand. Now, we're using the score because we want to be able to find what measure number to remind us exactly what we're talking about. Get in the habit of putting the stand and using your eyes in a way that you can look down at the music without necessarily turning your entire head down. And get in the habit of looking down very briefly, getting the information you need, and then addressing the ensemble without too much of a break, or at least back and forth. But you can imagine that if we are totally into our score and looking and just talking, we don't even know if people are paying attention, or if people are listening, or if people can even hear us. So try to get your voice and the bell of your voice out into the ensemble. We can also talk about some issues of pacing. And our voice can be an effective way to make rehearsals seem more interesting, more exciting, more intimate, depending on what we need. So you can imagine that if we need to add some energy to the ensemble, we can increase the volume of our voice, we might might speak a little bit faster, and we might make the pace of rehearsals, could that be a little shorter? Good, start at the same place, please. Flutes, that needs to be a little bit louder. And we can use that kind of energized pace effectively. The problem is you can't overuse it. You'll burn out, and the ensemble will burn out on it quickly. So we have to dial it back sometimes. Sometimes we might speak more softly, more slowly, to say, violins, we have an issue with the bowing here. I wonder if we can think of an alternate solution, and speak more intimately, kind of connect with them as if you're having a conversation, figure it out, then move on to something else. These are good ways to kind of change the energy and the flow of the rehearsal to make it effective without burning out on a specific sort of tempo. This is really the same concept that Muzak uses. If you ever listened to elevator music, it was originally designed to help productivity. And there are points in the Muzak where it increases its intensity, and then it'll relax, because they knew if you were intense the whole time with fast, incredibly aggressive, it was great for a little while, and then you kind of burned out again on it. If it was too soft and too mellow for too long, well, then you lost energy and you lost productivity. It was a combination of these peaks and valleys of energy and relaxation, and we can use our voice to help create those in rehearsal.